Good evening, everybody. It's good to be here virtually this evening. It seems a long time ago that we met in person. It was about a year ago, in fact, as I'm sure Kate and others will remember, that we met in the packed village hall on a similarly cold day, but clearly in rather different circumstances. And all of you who were there and have been involved in this will know that I have opposed this development every single step of the way. Can I briefly say a big thank you to Kate and the Save Our Heathlands committee for all the work you're doing organising this really tremendous campaign. I mean, it really, really is a formidable campaign to be organised by a group of volunteers, and for what you're doing organising this session and session the other day as well. Really good to get people together in this virtual format. Also, big thank you to John Britton, the Parish Council, for everything you're doing, and to Sheena, Tom and Janetta, who are also fighting hard for the area and in opposition to this proposed garden village. So I'll do a brief update on some of the things that I've been doing. So firstly, nationally, well, I've been lobbying number 10 Downing Street and Rob Jenrick, who's the Secretary of State of Housing, on the bigger picture, overall, saying, look, make sure our area doesn't get more than our fair share of housing, that we need to protect our countryside and make sure that we, to the extent that we must have some housing growth, we need the infrastructure to go with it. So I've been doing that at a national level. I've also met with Homes England, virtually met with them, who are supporting Maidstone Borough Council and sort of giving them some advice on the proposed development. But I've made Homes England absolutely aware of the strength of feelings against the development and the many reasons against this location. That said, I think we should all be really clear that this is about the local plan, and the proposition is, one for the local plan that's put together by Maidstone Borough Council, and it is up to the Borough Council to decide what housing goes where. And it's absolutely clear to me, as I think it is to everyone on this call, that Lenham Heath is not the right location for a garden village. That's why I've lobbied Maidstone councillors, as I know many of you have done, about the real planning reasons as to why Lenham Heath shouldn't be in the revised local plan. And I've done that in meetings with them, and particularly before key meetings of the Planning and Resources Committee. And in those conversations, some of the things I've pointed out, and firstly, the lack of infrastructure, and that in the lack of transport infrastructure means that there won't be easy access for people living in this village to employment, to local employment. And there's a real risk that it will become even a London commuter village rather than one that meets the local housing needs of the borough. And it won't be somewhere that will have accessible employment right on the doorstep. The main road supporting the development is the A20. We all know that that's already a busy road, single carriageway, huge problems if there's a problem on the M20 with the lorries using it, and the way that it links other local villages. So it really doesn't have capacity for a development of this kind of scale. Then there's a problem that, to the extent that new developments absolutely should include affordable housing. And one of the problems with this location is that for those who are living in affordable housing, in my experience, and there may well be those on the call who will counter me this, but it's certainly something that's come up for instance, Headcorn, is a need to be close to jobs and amenities and not to have to be reliant on having a car. And so it's worrying that if we have a location of a significant scale of development, which relies on people having to have a car, clearly, and that'll be the reason why many people have joined us this evening, this is so much against what people living in this area want. I did a survey with the help of my office. We had more than 1,000 people responded. 96% of them were against the development, and only 2% expressed support. So that's an overwhelming level of opposition to this. And the final point that I've been making in some of my lobbying against it is that the whole project is costing a huge amount of taxpayers' money, which really doesn't feel like good use of that money, considering against everything that it clearly isn't a good place to be doing a development. Where we are now is, of course, that Lenham Heath is going to go forward to be looked at in the council's 18B consultation, starting imminently on the 1st of December and closing just before Christmas on the 22nd of December. And I know I will be doing my part in promoting people to go and look at that consultation, to participate in it. I'll encourage everyone on the call to make sure that they take part, and I'm sure that Save Our Heathlands will be promoting that and also giving people advice about how to feed into that consultation to make sure that you get your views heard. I will say, if anyone wants any further information from me, just contact me, let me know. But I can't say strongly enough how much I'm determined to support you and support Save Our Heathlands in fighting this development every step of the way. Thanks very much. Back to you, Steve. And as I said earlier, I'm very happy to take any questions.